Good morning and welcome to another exciting Breakfast with Unity. So on today's episode, we're going to be working with sound, so I better have my volume up. First of all, I've shown this on the show several times, but I will continue to show it pretty much every time we do sound because this is a really easy way to make sounds. SFXR is a tool that was made actually for Ludum Dare, and it's designed for making sound effects just programmatically. You just hit buttons, like you can just hit buttons that already have parameterized generation that help you, like explosion. You always get something that sounds like an explosion. You've got lasers. You've got coins. You know, all sorts of cool stuff. So I've already picked an explosion for us to start with. It's this fireworks sound. I'm just going to play it for you real quick here. There it is. And the default import settings should be fine. Native wave, 3D sound, load type, load into memory. We could also make this compressed. Unity by default compresses waves that are over a certain length and then doesn't compress things that are small. That usually works the best because then you don't have to compress anything in memory. If you choose compress, you've got a few more options. You could be decompress on load, compress in memory, or stream from disk. Compressed in memory is your best choice typically. That's why it defaults to that. What this means is it'll decompress when it plays, and most hardware, even phones, can do this just fine. Decompress on load means that when the file is loaded, it's compressed on disk, so you save the space on your device, but it does not save space in RAM, so you still have the bigger RAM footprint. And stream from disk means that you have no RAM input footprint, or very little, and you replace that with some I/O operations and stuff. For the most part, you don't need to worry about this stuff. I'm going to just leave this to native wave for right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to create we're going to duplicate something. We're going to go back to our camera shake way back in the day. Wow, it feels so long ago now. I'm going to hit Command D to duplicate it, Control D if you are on Windows. And we're going to drag it into our new folder here, and we're going to call this Fireworks. So the most basic example of using sound is very, very easy. So Fireworks, we're going to also need the prefab here. I'm going to duplicate this Fireworks prefab, put it down here. Fireworks with sound. And what we're going to do with this is all we have to do to make these make sound is to literally just drag this onto them. And it'll automatically add a audio source. Audio sources are what make sounds. So if you want to manually add one, you just go component, audio source for something to make sound. And the default settings will make sure that this plays on awake, which means that if we just make sure that our spawner, what actually spawns our thing here? Spawn randomly is this cube. All right, I'm going to rename it to spawner. And we're going to, instead of spawning fireworks, we're going to spawn fireworks with sound. So if we hit play right now, there we go. You'll get these sound effects when the fireworks go off. So that's cool. Now, the other thing, we can do cool stuff with sound. So I'm going to create a simple sound script example, which will give us a little bit of variety to that sound. Even though we only have one sound, we can actually get some variety out of it. What I'm going to call this is random pitch. And we're going to just quit Better Snap Tool here. And what we're going to do is, in random pitch, is we're going to have a public float min pitch. Actually, let's make it an offset. Let's make it offset from the current setting of the pitch, just in case you wanted to change the pitch manually. Like you can change the pitch here just as a slider. So I'm going to make it so that we support that. So we're just going to call this pitch offset, and I'm going to give it a 0.3 f. Actually, let's do 0.5 f range. Actually, no, yeah, 0.2 f range. So what this will do is it'll go up or down 0.2 from the current pitch. And so what we can do is we'll just do in start we will set the pitch to, and actually I'm going to set it to awake. Awake happens slightly before start. And the reason I'm doing awake is because that's when we're actually playing the sound, so this will make sure that there's no time that the sound is not pitched up. Honestly, you will probably not hear a difference because one frame matters so little, especially the first frame when you're talking about audio. So what we're going to do in awake is we're going to set the audio.pitch to, maybe I should start using the new standards. So Unity 5.0 is going to be getting rid of the direct audio thing. I'm just going to mention this on the show. In the future, what you're going to be doing is get component audio source instead of just doing audio.pitch. You're going to have to assign this to something, probably call it audio. I just want to put this up here. Unity 5.0 version... get component audio source. This will also work now, but I'm going to still use the old version because I like it, and I kind of hope that it comes back, even though I know that it's gone. Audio.pitch equals random.range, and what we're going to use is audio.pitch minus pitch offset. PITCH offset. Yeah, okay. It's right, but and then the max is going to be audio.pitch plus pitch offset. So this will give us a value that is based on our initial pitch settings. So if we go to Fireworks with, so now if we add this to our Fireworks with Sound, and then configure it, and it's already configured pretty well. Let's just hit play and see how this goes. You can hear the slight variation. We can make it more dramatic if we want. We can change the pitch to that's way too much range, 1.0. Yeah, so you can see how it affects the sounds. And all pitch is actually doing is just changing the speed that they play. So that's cool. We've got audio playing. We've got random pitching working for us. Actually, I'm going to put that back to 0.5. So what are we doing? So this is cool. We can now get more variety out of the sound that we already have. Now, what if we wanted to play one or two different sounds? We could do that. We have to start doing programmatic stuff at that point. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create another explosion sound here. That sounds pretty unique. It's probably not appropriate for fireworks, but fireworks 2. So we're going to go fireworks 2. Throw this into the project. Default settings should be fine. Check to make sure that it works. Cool. And so let's make it so this will play a random sound as opposed to the built-in sound. So I'm going to create a C# script called random sound clip is what I'm going to call it. And we may have to manually play it in here, but let's just see what happens first. So we're going to create a public audio clip. What are we going to call this? The audio clip is going to be an array of, we're going to call this sound clips. And then in awake, we'll see if awake happens earlier than the special awake that's used by the component. I imagine that it does not. But let's just see how this goes. We're going to set audio.clip to audio.clip equals random.range 0 soundclips.length. So this will give us a random bit of audio between 0 and soundclips.length, which this is actually typically when you're working with arrays. I just want to point this out. You go between 0 and 1 less than the length of something, but we automatically get that. Random.range in the int version does not include the last number here. It's designed specifically so that you can randomize stuff in a list very easily. So this is honestly more of a thing to run into when you're not using random range for a list, but rather using it to try and get two numbers. So keep that in mind. You might want one number higher with random.range when you're dealing with ints if you want to include the last number, or if you want to include what was previously the last number. I don't think I'm explaining this well, but I've mentioned it on the show a few times before, and I try to point it out. So I'm going to save here. So now we've got random sound clip. We're going to put this on our fireworks with sound, and then what we're going to do is we're going to wait as this compiles. Oh. Can't implicitly convert type int to Unity version engine audio clip. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So this just gives us a number. We need to actually use this as a reference. So sound clips. So we want this to be the index that we grab from our sound clip. So if we hit save here, that should solve our little compile error. And if we go to inspector here, we can now see that this thing has a list of sound clips, and we can just drag these onto sound clips, and it'll automatically increment the size and give you a new clip and add it to the list. So now if we hit play, let's see if this works. It might not. Now we get no sound. Not a good sign. Oh. So it looks like if the sound clip changes, we're getting no sound. So what we're going to do is, instead of play on awake, we're going to disable that, and then we're going to go into here and call it play manually. So audio.play. Let's see if that solves our problem. There we go. And we have, we actually have the random pitch working on both of these. It's great. So now you've got an example of multiple sounds. And our final thing that I want to go through is, let's add a delay to the sound. So in order to make this more useful, I'm going to create a public bool, what are we going to call this? Play on awake. And so this will default to true, equals true. We don't usually default to true, but I think that's appropriate in this case. And so now we can set if play on awake. We can do some audio.play goodness. Save. And so now if we hit play, this should work exactly the same as it did before. But we can also now go here and turn off play on awake, and we'll hear no sounds. And the reason I'm setting this up is because fireworks in the real world have a delay when they play. So I'm going to create a script called play after delay. And all we're going to do is in start, we're going to run an invoke play now and give it a delay. We didn't define this delay yet, so it's definitely not going to find it. And let's just quickly define that. Public float delay equals 1.0f. We'll just make that the default. And then all we will do is, we don't need this update. We're going to rename this to play now. And just all we have to say is audio.play. And it's a function, so make sure to put the function brackets at the end. Hit save. And so if we throw this onto our fireworks with sound, and let's make the delay not as ridiculous. And how do we randomly spawn these things right now? Delay. Oh, we just have a set delay. Okay. I kind of want to add some variation to when they go off so it sounds more like fireworks. Let's do that in just a second. Let's just get this working first. So play after delay is on our fireworks with sound, and let's just make the delay 0.5 for now. So if we hit play, so now you can see that there's a delay between the explosion. So if we want them to be really far away, we do like a delay of 2. And the reason this is not going to sound so good is because it's going to kind of start going along with the sounds. So I'm going to change, we're going to make a change to the spawner here. But I want to make this change in such a way that we don't mess up previous versions that we've used of the spawner script. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a public float min delay, and we're going to set it to 1.0f, and we're going to put public float max delay and equals 1.0f again. Now, the reason I'm doing this is normally we'd put two separate values so that we can see that there's a randomness to it. But since we were relying on this thing defaulting to 0.1, I don't want to break anything that is using our default values. So we're just going to set them both to 0.1 so things shouldn't break too bad unless we change some of the values. But we're going to give this a shot anyway. So min delay, max delay, and all we're going to do is, instead of delay here, we're going to do random.range min delay and max delay. And we're going to replace that here as well. So now, if we go in, we'll see this change into two separate things, although I missed a semicolon somewhere. Where did I miss a semicolon? Oh, I missed a parentheses. Save. Still messed up. And I missed it in both places, so that makes sense, considering we copied and pasted between the two. So now it'll sound the same. It'll have that 2-second delay. But if we go to... actually, I guess that was a 1-second delay. So if we go to the inspector now... No, it's still 2-second delay. Oh, play after delay. That's right. We don't want to randomize the delay here. We just want to randomize the spawning stuff. So our delay... Let's leave it at... Let's do 1.5. And let's change the spawner so that we have a min delay of 0.1 and a max delay of 2. And then we hit play. And now we should have a more dynamic looking set of fireworks. There we go. So now we have fireworks that have realistic delays. So that's some sound work for you. Thank you very much for watching. You guys have a wonderful Friday and weekend. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Drakfyre, that's DRAKFYRE. We need your support on Patreon, so really appreciate it. Patreon.com/cookingwithunity. And thank you guys for watching. We love you guys. I'll catch you on Monday, or maybe sooner. I was thinking about maybe doing something this weekend, video-wise. We'll see. I'll probably catch you on Monday. I'll definitely catch you on Monday, though. So Monday at 8 a.m. for for Breakfast with Unity, and Monday at 8:30 p.m. For another episode of our light gun game. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend.